Welcome back to What Would It Cost? We're excited to be here today with Dondre from Elite Realty Group, and he's going to talk to us all about being a new agent and what that looks like.
And this week's episode is brought to you by Royal Venetian Mansion, a luxury boutique banquet hall located at 400 Industrial Parkway South in Aurora. For all your events, catering needs, and any special events, be sure to contact Gianluca and Maria Gallo at Royal Venetian Banquet Hall.
And it's a family-run business. There's a lot of time, love, and care that they put into everything in regards to your event. And you really feel that way when you walk in there and you have the event handled by them. It's awesome.
What is it going to cost?
How much? Hi, my name's Nicholas Regina.
My name is Michael Sakuro.
And you're listening to
What Would It Cost?
Is that good?
So let's get into it. So, welcome to the podcast.
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you for, first and foremost, thank you for having me. And, it's truly a pleasure. I feel like I'm special. I'm in the seat. Yeah. I've seen the big people that you guys had on the podcast. So, congratulations to you guys on the podcast.
Thank you for that.
I'm looking forward for this episode.
Yeah, as are we. Yeah, no, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell us a bit about your journey. We were talking before about COVID and what you were doing before. So let's get into detail about that.
Well, first and foremost, my name is Dondre Homer, as you mentioned. I'm a husband. I'm a father. And I'm a self-published author of 2 children's books, actually.
Oh, wow.
And then after that, I guess I will say that, I'm a podcast host, and then I'm a licensed realtor. I've been in the business for just over a year now, so I just celebrated my first year. It's been good, but, definitely some hurdles, but you're always learning.
Awesome. We appreciate you rocking the hat.
I appreciate
for the podcast.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
So what made you want to get into real estate? Was it that shift through COVID, or was this like a long-term plan?
So COVID was actually what kind of made me press the button.
Yeah.
But years prior, I was actually at a seminar for Robert Herjavec from Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And what happened was usually in those seminars, it's the first part is, they teach about your business and, all these different type of things. And then the second part is about real estate. Now, prior to that, I actually went to a Damon Jones seminar. But when it came to that second part of real estate, I left because I was like, this is for, rich people. I can't get into real estate, So I was like, can't get into real estate. But at the Robert Herjavec seminar, I ran to some friends. We're talking about the seminar. He said a quote that kind of like changed my life, where he was like, once you suffered enough, you do whatever it takes to change your circumstances. Yeah. And I hold that to me for everything.
Very cool.
So, during the intermission, I'm with some friends. We're just, chopping it up. And on the PA, before they go into real estate, they're like, all right, stay tuned, guys. We're going to get into real estate, learn how to invest in real estate with no money down. Now, I had a mental note of my bank account, and I was like, I qualify. I qualify. There's no money down. This is great. This is awesome.
He's engaged.
I'm engaged. I'm ready.
Approved.
First seat. I sat down. I'm like, this is me. This is me. And I learned about a strategy called wholesaling. And now, obviously, they want you to sign up with your team, blah, blah, blah. I didn't qualify for that. So I took what I learned, and I went home and started studying.
Yeah.
Wholesale. Like, what is this wholesaling stuff? And obviously, it's big in the States. But, and I found people like Max Maxwell, and there's a guy named Chris Conan. And the way they broke it down was so amazing to me. I'm like, wow, this is incredible. You can just flip paper.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool. How can I find this in Canada? Because it sounds very easy in Canada. in the States. So I've been searching, digging deep into real estate and wholesaling, and I found, people who do wholesaling in Canada. And throughout this journey, I'm here just like trying to build myself up as a man. I become a father during this time. So years are going by, and I'm like, I want to get into real estate, but I just don't know how. Yeah. I was able to, connect with some coaches who were able to assist me with, how to do numbers, how to analyze deals, right? Because that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And then after you do that, you try to put offers in, but in this market, and obviously during COVID, that wasn't happening. And, I kind of, once my son was born and COVID hit, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I know I want to get into real estate, but, I'm working at the bank at this time now. I'm just trying to find my way. And I watched another podcast, Random Order, with Trey and Jay. These are, influencers in Toronto. And they had a realtor on by Jonathan McKay. And the way he broke down real estate and how simple it is, and how you can help clients, I was like, that's it.
Wow.
So when we went through the lockdown, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the jump. I'm a God-fearing man, so I prayed about it. I talked to my wife about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the jump, because obviously right now, when COVID hit, no one knew what it was. It was hectic. Like, toilet paper was gone. Like, there was nothing available. Like, so
people stocking up on toilet paper?
I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know.
This worldwide pandemic, so much to worry about when you're thinking worst case scenario.
The first thing you think about is toilet paper.
Yeah, prioritize wiping your ass.
It was all the non-Europeans without the bidets.
It's like, just grab the shower head if you have to.
But hey, I guess toilet paper is that important, right? So,
So going back to what you were talking about, the wholesaling, because it's really interesting, because of course everybody's dream is buying something without any money down.
Right.
So give us a little bit of information on what wholesaling is.
So basically what wholesaling is, you are hunting for a property that's undervalued, right? Yeah. And when you are speaking with the homeowner, what you want to do is get that property under contract. Now, as you guys may already know, under that contract, you can put a condition of assignment. And all you're trying to do now is you have this under, value property, and you're trying to assign it to an investor, and then you're going to be paying for that time, because as a wholesaler, you're hunting. You're the one driving for dollars. You're the one, on the floor. Investors don't have time for that, right? They want to sit on their couch, make the money, do that. So you're kind of like that. What do they call bird dogs or something like that? Right? So you're that person on the floor. You're like a floor general for them. And they will pay you for finding that deal. So you put your wholesale, and people have made $5,000 to $50,000 on wholesaling deals. Now, granted, I did not complete one, but I guess the journey of going through it is what made me be like, yo, I love this. And then also I started falling in love with houses. Right. I started watching, like, oh my gosh, this house that smells like cat piss can turn into something incredible, because that's what the investor's going to do. He's going to renovate it, do what he needs to do, and then flip it. I'm like, wow. So I started falling in love with the whole journey of real estate.
Yeah.
So
that's
that's
how
a little bit.
Robert Kiyosaki from Rich Dad Poor Dad, that was a big strategy of his as
wholesaling,
well.
right?
Yeah, he'd move into markets, and he'd have a real good understanding for what the market would pay for that, if presented properly, and then he would go even do some door knocking as well, and see if people were interested in selling. Door knocking,
hand off flyers, because a lot of people really don't like realtors. They actually don't like. A lot of people don't like realtors, so they rather just try to sell it themselves. And that's where, as a wholesaler, you can go to these owners and be like, "Hey, I have some buyers," which you do. You have investors behind you, and then they can get off your hands in no time. But I think the only issue that I found with wholesaling is that you're looking for people in desperate situations, and that I can't knock people who do it, but like, personally, me, I just felt kind of bad.
It weighs on you.
Yeah, like I'm here waiting for you to get, you're going through a sticky situation, a divorce, or you're behind bills, or, whatever, and you're just looking for people to take. You're not taking advantage, I guess, but for me personally, I just feel like, I'm just looking for a bad situation.
Right.
Your moral compass just didn't want to guide you in that direction, and everyone's moral compass is, navigated differently.
Yeah, it just didn't sit well with me.
Yeah. And if you don't love and you don't have that energy and passion for what it is you're doing and really believe in it, then you're not going to do good at it, no matter what it is. So if that wasn't driving you, but great way to break into the market. Very unique. I've never heard of that approach before, but just what it served in regards to education, that's a very cool story on how it kind of pushed you into the market.
For sure. Because now you learn how to do numbers. So whenever, like, I was doing an investment deal, just looking at some numbers, and I brought it to my broker, and he was like, this is very conservative. Like, wow, you know how to do numbers really well. I told him, this is from years back when I was trying to hunt deals and try to find the right property.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, yeah.
okay, wow. So
Wow,
now,
very cool.
when we're dealing with real investors, I can just send them to you.
Yeah. Nice,
So
very
that's,
good.
you know,
so you
so
found even a little micro niche.
Yeah, something
that's
like
awesome.
that, right?
Good
Yeah.
for you, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your new dad. Your son's 2 years old. You were
Yes,
saying, and
yes.
and I find it interesting that going through a global pandemic, no experience in real estate, newborn at the time,
Yeah.
right, 1 years old at the time, making that jump. What it took for you to what gave you the courage to take that leap into the industry, and what that looks like now, and how happy you are that you took that leap. So
That's
but
a-
bring us through all that, because I'm a father as well of 3, and I
Congratulations.
have
Oh,
some
wow.
young ones at home, and I know the challenges that you face just as being a father,
For
right?
sure.
And how intense that is. But now you're talking about a full out career change,
Mm-hmm.
diving into something you don't know much about. Yeah, talk to us about.
Well,
that.
that's a great question. Really and truly, I could say that my son is my motivation. He's kind of what made that transition in my life. So in the intro, I mentioned that I'm a self-published author, and the first book I wrote was called 5 Nuggets, and that book is about 5 principles that I want to teach and install into my son. So that was, again, years back, and before I actually knew that my wife and I were be expecting, I already had an inkling of that I'm gonna have a son.
Okay.
And I wrote the book 4 months before he was born, right? And I would say that my son, my wife and my son, not just my son, but both of them are my true inspiration. My wife, I guess, when we first started dating, I had a friend of mine tell me that she's the one that calms me down, right? So she's the person that kind of mellowed me out.
Yeah.
So I guess before I was a little bit hyper. So she calmed me down. So whenever I have a thought or an idea, because whenever I have a thought, an idea, I always come to her, because before, I guess I had to pivot a lot.
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted to, get into be an entrepreneur, and I was just trying everything. I was trying to, provide for my family, and I had to pivot a lot, which some people may feel like I'm unable to hold something down. I'm not too sure, but with them, it allows me to truly, have a why. They're my
Yeah,
why. A lot of people
yeah,
will talk about,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
where's your why? What's your why?
Yeah.
And that's my
your why.
my wife and my son. And the transition, honestly, was because of COVID. I was at the bank, and COVID at the time, people didn't know if you were gonna come be inside the office.
Yeah.
If you're working from home. I was brand new. Full disclaimer, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I wasn't the greatest at the job. So I was going through that, and I'm like, man, like I don't know what it is. I'm looking at my son, and I'm like, I just want to provide for you. Like you're the only thing that matters to me right now.
Yeah.
Like, how can I do this? And it was just, I guess, just a leap of faith, really and truly. And I have a wife who, if I was selling ice cubes, she's be right by my side.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
Yeah.
I guess because I have that backing of my wife and my son, it was the transition to becoming a realtor
Yeah.
was much easier.
Yeah.
know.
Very well said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I
it's
can relate,
awesome. I
man.
love that.
There's no other drive that
Oh, for
wants
sure.
you to get that you want to get outside of your front door in the morning and go work really, really hard for it and give it your all.
For sure.
It's a very selfless feeling as a father that you just want to bring that food home to that little mouth on the table, make sure they're all good. And,
For sure.
You go hard, man. It just automatically goes into a higher gear that naturally you didn't know you had that in you.
I had
I can
a
relate.
gentleman who told me, like, if you ever thought that you were dangerous before, now that you're a father,
Yeah, look up.
you have no idea what
Yeah,
you're capable of doing.
yeah,
It's the same thing with mothers.
Yeah.
You see, you think you can just, oh, they're so small and so fat. Oh no, mess with a mother's child, and you see
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
the adrenaline, what they're
Yeah.
capable of doing is insane.
Yeah.
So
Very
yeah.
cool. Awesome, man. Yeah, talk to us a little bit about your brokerage too, what that looks like, how they've been a vital part in your growth and how they've allowed you to grow into the realtor that you're in.
For sure. So, I'm a part of the Elite Realty Group. And
Shout out Elite.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Because my broker, I can honestly say, like, changed my life. And it was funny. His slogan is changing lives. Before getting into real estate, I was at the bank and I left the bank, and I'm now thinking, okay, I want to fully immerse myself in real estate. So the first thing I thought of, okay, I'm gonna work for a brokerage. So I emailed, some brokerages, and some didn't get back to me. No worries. I actually sent my broker a DM, formal DM, because I just found him on Instagram. I'm like, wait, you look familiar. And I, searched him, and he's like, why so formal? Come to the office, let's talk. And long story short, after that day, he hired me as an ISA. So an ISA means inside sales agent. So I was making calls, I was talking to people, setting appointments up for the agents. So I'm an ISA while I'm in school.
Okay.
So
I've never heard of this position.
ISA,
cool.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm the one making calls. I'm doing the job that a lot of realtors don't like doing, making calls and
Right.
all that type of
And
stuff.
essentially, you're flipping the lead to the realtor.
And I'll get a
Okay.
percentage from that.
Okay. Okay.
So that's how I get paid.
Okay. And ISA.
And then he also gave me a salary as well. So I was able to provide for my family and still be able to go to school. So then once I got my real estate license, that's when everything. All right, this is what you need to do every day. Go to meetings every Friday. This is what you need to do. Let's. He provided a system, for me to really excel as a new agent. You know, because a lot of times, a lot of people come into this. All right, cool. What's next? Because people, and I know that a lot more realtors have came into the market during COVID, right? And the thing is because some people lost jobs, and whatever the situations, right? So when people come into real estate, they just feel like, all right, cool, I'm just gonna wake up and make money, but they're kind of stuck on the employee mindset of, okay, so I'm waiting for someone to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Some people may have that natural, okay, I'm gonna do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. But some people may need someone to tell them what to actually do, right? But he set up a system where I'm not like it makes me a little bit more comfortable to know that, okay, I have some tasks that can help me build my business. So yeah, he really has helped me fine tune myself as a man as well. And help me build my business. He's one of those brokers that if I'm stuck on writing a deal and I don't know what it was, I remember my first deal, I'm like, I don't know what this is. I called him at like 10 o'clock at night and I'm like, help me. And the fact that he was willing to step aside from his family, that I said, wow, that's big time.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Yeah, those relationships and those bonds where even outside of work hours or outside of what fits in the box in regards to how they're able to support you, the ones that go above and beyond and really nurture and help you out on a personal level as well, above and beyond that, just the business, those are the ones that hit different and you see a lot of longevity out of, and you see a lot of beautiful things come from, right?
For sure.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Now, take us through the journey a bit of becoming that new agent. So you're saying you were working as the ISA, you're going through school. So in light of what would it cost, what was that cost? Because given you're one of the more recent where they had changed the program over to like Humber College, I believe. So what's that look like?
Humber, yeah. I'm gonna so to the schooling costs probably around 4,500 to 5,000.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. And the great thing is you pay course by course, and each exam is like $100. So if you failed, which I did, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, you have to pay an extra $100. But with that, it's probably around 5,000. The great thing about my brokerage is all the other like marketing and stuff like that is free. So I don't have to worry about too much. So I know with business cards, that could be another cost.
Yeah.
Your signage. Now I got my sign, which is but I think $75, I'm not mistaken. You have your posts, whatever the case may be. But other than that, everything else is included with my broker. My CRM taken care of from my broker. So my broker really eases off the financial load off of me because, he's able to take care and take care of his people. That's at the end of the day.
Nice.
So when it comes to marketing, what are your avenues for marketing? Are you more, hard copy, boots on the ground, or are you more social media, email blasts?
Both. I would say, is because usually I'll start off like once I get the listing, I'll be able to take some pictures of the home and then immediately start marketing on social media.
Yeah.
Now because of our database, we can share that out to our database. So there's not really much that I really need to do, to be honest. So I just I can take some pictures through my database, through the database. And then from there, that's when we can get like flyers handed out to the area, let people know. And then social media is what I do. I like social media, so I will just try to market as much as possible.
Yeah. And
then with my broker, he provides it on everything. So realtor.ca, and then he has his thousands of buyers and sellers. So it's really not much that I need to do other than have a listing,
just have that listing,
sign, everything's good to go, send it off to him, and then I work on the other things regarding the client.
Right.
So I'm more focused on taking care of my client, and then he takes care of the back end stuff, which is great and very helpful as well.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Tell us a funny story.
A funny story of what?
You're something that happened within your experience in the industry that you found.
Oh wow.
That you found really funny.
Sometimes agents don't update their system right away, or the communication may not be the greatest. So I went to a property and someone's already in it, like living in it. And the face that she gave, I'm like, and my client here, I'm like, I promise this is not me. This is I don't want my client to think that it's me. I'm like, hello, agent. So I'm at your listing, and I have my client here. I'm here to do a showing, and he's like, I'm like, is it available still? Yeah, it is. It is available. I'm like, are you sure? Because I have someone staring right at my face, saying that.
He didn't know he sold it.
I guess he didn't know. That's the thing. Like I'm here trying to figure out.
And was there like a lockbox, like you open the door and everything?
I had the keys in my hand. So I'm here like, sir, you need to come here because I don't know what's going on.
How did that go when he met the person he sold it to?
So, really and truly, what happened at the end of it, after me going back and forth making calls, he found out that his client sold it behind his back. So I told my client, I'm so sorry about this.
So his client did a private sale behind his back, finished the transaction. The realtor's still under the impression that he's got a listing.
And my client looked at me, he's like, I promise you, I know it's not your fault. I'm like, I'm happy that you know. Because for some reason, that's happened even with leases that have happened before as well. I knocked on the door and she's like, I'm the new tenant here. I'm like, this is not me, because my client is always here with me. And I'm like, this is not me, I promise. And they're like, let's just go, because she seems angry. Let's just. So I'm like, wow. So,
I just love to see that lady's face that you had the keys and opened the door.
If you saw her face, she was like, and then you see her son peeking out from the back. I'm like, she's like trying to close the door, like, who? I'm like, this is very awkward. Very awkward. So
that's awesome.
Anyway, wanted to thank you for taking the time out of your day to sit with us. It's been an absolute pleasure. We had a good laugh. And we really enjoyed your insight as a new agent, new father, and working with an awesome brokerage that's helped you get to where you're at. And we're excited to see what comes of you in the future. And you're going to be successful. And
most definitely,
your podcast is going to kick some butt. You as an agent is going to kick some butt. And more importantly, you as a dad.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. I
appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate it.
And let everybody know where they can check you out.
So you can find the podcast on Instagram at the D Homer Real Estate Podcast, and you can find me on Instagram as well at D Homer Real Estate. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thanks again to this week's sponsor, Royal Venetian Mansion. Be sure to check them out for all your event and catering needs. Give Gianluca and Maria a call, 400 Industrial Parkway South.
And again, nothing like that service and the quality of that service when you're dealing with a family-run business. They care about it like no other. And from A to Z, they're going to make sure they got your back.
Thanks again for tuning to this week's episode. Be sure to like, follow, and share. Hit the subscribe button below, and we'll see you next week.
Hit the subscribe button. We need more subscribers. Next on What Would It Cost?
Our purchasers who are buying new homes and condos were eligible for this $30,000 rebate.
Yeah.
So I says, wow, like not too many people are knowing about it, and like why shouldn't we start to share the word?
Yeah.
So as I was like looking more into the program, I found out that like it's not only a rebate when you buy a brand new home or a condo, is also when you are renovating your home, building yourself a new home, or building an addition to your home. So I said, I'm gonna leave the real estate development company and start HST Rebate Canada.
Yeah.
And just by starting to help some of my friends who were building, renovating, I was doing the applications for them, and then 8 weeks later, they were getting in their pocket like $16,000 or $30,000 or $24,000. I said, there's a business here. Wow. And so that's how this ball started to roll.